And welcome. I am Sarah Lockett, and I'm going to be hosting this live stream today. A little bit late because we had a few technical problems, as well as I will be hosting the awards ceremony on Thursday. So this is the third annual MiraBan UK Film Awards. So all finalists' films, do remember, are now available in streaming on the MiraBan website, miraban.com, and you can vote for your choice. So this is the best film audience's choice from midnight tonight. I know some people have been on the Facebook page trying to do it already. So what you need to do is to join the Facebook group, which is called London Film Events, and then you join the group and then you can vote from midnight tonight. And don't forget to, if you're one of our finalists, directors or producers, you could take part in our networking sessions every afternoon, and you should have been sent a link. So today we are talking about the feature film George M. Cohan Tonight, selected in the Best Actor category. So let's meet our guests. It is a one-man show, isn't it? So the actor is Jon J. Peterson. Hello to you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Where are you joining us from, Jon?
I'm in New York at the moment.
In New York, aha.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, we've also got with us the juror in this category. So Stephen Keep-Mills, hello to you.
Hi, how are you? Nice to be here, finally.
I know, exactly. And where are you joining us from, Stephen?
Los Angeles, where the weather never changes and 5 years can go by in an instant. So.
Okay then, all right. And Jay Manari is here with us too, the festival director. So hello to you, Jay.
Hello. Can you see me now, or I'm still?
We can see you now. Yes.
Clear as a bell.
Everything's working now. Okay, so just before we start chatting, shall we see the trailer from the film, Jay, if you wouldn't mind playing it in?
Absolutely.
What becomes of a kid who spends no time at all in school and every possible minute of the day living and breathing the show business?
Handsome Tink Nicholson tours with the world's wisest pig.
Oh, my parents. They were show people. They first carried me out onto the stage within days of my birth in Providence, Rhode Island on the 4th of July, 1878.
You won't do any business if you haven't got a band. The folks expect a street parade with uniforms so grand.
I remember when anyone who was anyone knew the face of George M. Cohan. For it is Mary.
But Ma, you know I'm the best singer-dancer in the act. Nobody pushes around this little guy.
With just a modest amount of laudanum.
There is
all of this could have been avoided.
The four Cohans were the most popular and highest paid family act in vaudeville. I sang, acted, and starred in shows I wrote and directed.
Old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace me away.
I booked a publicist, I hired a rehearsal hall, I engaged a cast, I set an opening night, and then I started to write the show.
I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die.
Just trying to perfect my work. Learn all the things you want to in life. But first, learn to dance.
I am a Yankee Doodle boy.
Good. So, I mean, you directed, you acted. Were you actually in the stage show, Jon?
Yes, I was. The original stage show. It was me. The reason I did everything was not an ego trip. It was because the writer, Chip Tafar, was going to be the director, and the producer as well. Well, actually, I was gonna be a little bit of a producer, sort of have because but then he got sick before we started shooting, and it was he's fine now, but at the time it was of concern. So he said, "Do you want to take over as producer?" And I said, "Okay," because I just sold my apartment in LA, and I thought, "Oh, I can stick a bit of money into it. We don't have to look for backers. We'll be fine." And he said, "Okay, can you direct it too?" And because we didn't have much time, I just took over. I said, "Yes, it'll be fine," because I know the piece. Of course, I'd never directed myself in anything before, so it was a total nightmare.
Was it difficult? Did you
For me,
ease
it
yourself into it, doing all the 3 roles, or?
I tried to sort of have eyes open, prepare as much as I could for all 3 roles, and then watch everything fall apart as the filming progressed. And because I wasn't able to oversee the cinematographer on the first 3 days of our shoot, as much as I would like to, when I got the rushes back, there were some dance numbers that were shot from like the angle up, tap numbers, so you couldn't see the feet. It was just awful. And I should have been aware of that before we even yelled action, but I wasn't.
Yeah, you learned. I actually once went to see River Dance, and I was in the front row, and I couldn't see any of the feet.
Oh, it was that. It was exactly that. Yes. Yeah. And sweat being thrown at you.
Yes, lovely. So Stephen, if I can bring you in now, what were your impressions, and what did you think of the film?
Well, my first impression was you are a Promethean talent. I mean, you have an incredible voice. You dance. I mean, it's just it's extraordinary. I mean, I've been to so many Broadway musicals, and all of them could have had you in the lead. I even saw Tommy Steele do Half a Sixpence, which I understand you've played as well.
I did about 11 years ago. Yes.
Well, it's a great part and
a great show. Yeah, lovely, old-fashioned, very old-fashioned.
But I was just knocked out, and it gave me such an insight into the character because I thought George M. Cohan was James Cagney.
Yes.
And I didn't really,
as we do,
get much of the story other than that. And we say, oh, James Cagney can dance. I didn't know that.
That's the joy of the movie, really.
I mean, we really get an insight into the man, how he grew up, the forces he dealt with, and the incredible light that would just never go out.
Yes.
Ever.
He's a very inspiring man to try and...
It is the absolute optimism that is necessary for any performing art.
Yes, the antithesis of me. Who's ever optimistic, and I'm like gloom and doom. Oh.
No, but you have such, I wanted to ask, you have such command of this role. I mean, how can you let it go?
It's a wonderful role to play. It's very fulfilling. Yes, it is hard. I mean, whenever Chip calls and says, I got a gig, do you want to do the show in Boston or something? I go, yeah, I'll give me 3 weeks. I'll get the script. I'll get myself in shape, and we do it. We go off and we do it, and I love it. I never get bored. I love I think one show in one place where I did for one performance, the audience was so awful that I got a little bit sassy. And that.
How were they awful? How could they not respond? What did they do?
I didn't say anything like "you're no good." I just, the character became a little angry.
Yeah.
And then I felt so guilty afterwards. I just slapped myself and said, "Don't ever do that again." It's, I think you have to. It's if no one else is there to instill discipline on you, you have to be. One
of the main differences between stage and film is, of course, the audience. I mean,
yes, it's a different mindset when you sit and watch a movie to being involved in a immersive.
You have a preference?
It used to be theatre, and there is a sort of an excitement to that, like an endorphin rush. But I think the craft of making a movie as an actor, how you have to just be real and just go into yourself rather than externalize it. That is, at the moment, at this time of my life, very exciting and intriguing, and that's
of course. But you were playing someone who was trying to reach the people in the cheap seats, weren't you? So you were still having to do all of that, weren't you?
Actually, I was thinking, did you consider to use real audience in front of you? Because I felt it would have been a nice idea at the time. Was it filmed during COVID? So that's
it was filmed during COVID, so all the theatres were abandoned that we played in. But the premise of the stage show was that the ghost of George M. Cohan haunts this theatre that you're in, and he sort of appears for you and tells you his story. But because we had to shoot in so many different theatres because of all the disasters that we came across, I changed the premise to George M. Cohan haunts every theatre in New York he ever played. So mid-sentence he'll be somewhere else, We didn't have the money, the time, or the capacity to make that really convincing. So it was all a bit of a compromise. I'm confessing everything to you now, so that you can like, throw my movie away. But that's
performance. You know, the more difficult the show, the most difficult becomes to be into the performance. And you directed it, so it's also a feature directorial debut, if I understood it correctly.
It is, yes. Hopefully, the next time I direct a little indie movie, hopefully it's going to be, I'm not in it, and it can just be a real story with lots of different actors, and I can just really enjoy myself.
But actually, you say lots of different actors. It's just you for the whole film, and you carry it because it's changes of tone and changes of feel, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yes, totally it is. I mean, he goes through different parts of his life. He changes. He becomes more damaged by life, I suppose. And of course, I have to be the different characters that he encounters during his life. So I'll slip into. They're almost caricatures of characters, really. They're almost like vaudeville performances of the people that he met.
Very much so. And it's so weird to hear you speaking British English because I thought you must be American because of that fantastic accent.
It's always weird when you hear when I hear some actors that are like Australian actors that I thought were American for years, and they go, "Oh, hi, hello, yes. I can't do that."
All right,
and you go, "Oh, I didn't know that." It's so weird, isn't it, with us?
I have a question. Watching the film, I mean, as you watched the film, did you learn something watching yourself on film versus on stage? I mean, did watching both performances, how did one inform the other?
Yes. On stage, you don't really get to see yourself unless someone films it, the live performance. I think watching the movie, I every time I see myself on screen, I hope I'm learning something. Like, oh, you need to, maybe this should be, oh, that was okay, and all that stuff. So again, watching the movie, when I watched I did a film festival in Durango, the Durango Film Festival last week, or the week before. Oh, God, I can't remember. And the movie screened twice. The first time I watched it at the back of the house, it was a mixture of elation and despair that I was going through. So yeah, and I keep thinking, if we'd had one more week to shoot and get all those things that are awful right, it could be a really good movie. So that was my overwhelming. Then the second time it's shot in a different theatre, they used what they call a DCP file. You all know what that is. It's like a specific cinema file that they had converted from my file that I had sent them, and this DCP file was a third of a second out of sync. So it was horrifying to watch for me and the audience, and all the tap numbers made no sense. It was like knock, knock, knock. It was that. Oh, it was just awful.
No, but then being director yourself and actor, did you as an actor think, I want to do it one more time, I know I can do it better? And as a director, you can say, sure, go on. Whereas a separate director would have said, look, it's fine as it is. What did you find yourself doing that?
There wasn't that consultation between the actor and the director that I love to have. Especially for some of the emotional scenes towards the end of the movie where he kind of breaks down a little. That obviously is very difficult. Usually it's a quiet set when you do those sort of scenes. Everyone is in simpatico with you. But the cinematographer, we were on by that time, we shot that towards the end, and we had we got like an hour and a half left to get these most difficult scenes of the movie in. Go. And it was almost impossible. I managed to dig in there and give something, but for me, even now, I think that wasn't ideal. There was, the third day that we shot was the last day of the first location we shot in, and we were trying to get through the last 20 minutes of the movie. It was almost like just shooting the stage show, really. We just said, let's just shoot. Let's do close-ups, let's do long shots, let's do this angle, and go. We had like an hour and a half left. The first take was great. I managed to be in there. The whole thing was great. Second take, medium close-up, which is the one that really counts for an emotional scene. I was like, I'm thinking about, Daily Express.
Yeah, shopping list.
I could not. So I wanted to reshoot. So we went back to the theatre where the show actually premiered in 2006. They let us in for 2 days and said, do what you like. The stage was deserted and stripped out. It was perfect. So we managed to get those scenes then, But so many disasters like that. But every movie has that.
As the producer, you were able to call that shot, though.
I was able to tell the actor, "You're doing it again in a different," and he showed up. So.
And you have all the time you want.
Yeah.
There you go. I think Jay, are you burning to ask something?
So sorry, I'm talking.
No, I'm just saying. Unfortunately, because of our delay, we have a few guests lined up, so we have to wrap this up. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, Jon, and
thank you all,
Stephen, for your patience as well in waiting us with our technical support. So we have to wrap this up, but
it's been wonderful.
Stay tuned, audience, because we're moving on with Sonoran Saints and Luke Apache, who are joining us right now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jay, Sarah.
Best of luck, Jon.
Thank you, Jon.
You too.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Jay. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good luck.